Welcome to In the Blink of My Eye, tales of strange visions and journeys into twisted realms. And so the man stood within the ruined huts of the ancestors that mouldered with the landscape, so that they became as natural as the tors that were their neighbours. Only the wind whistling through the rocks broke the silence that the fog pervaded upon the moor. On the horizon, the orange glow of a distant town was all there was to remind the man of his fellow humans, and the distance isolated him further, and to see distant company, yet not be comforted and protected by the pack, opened a wound in the man and peeled it wide. He hung his head away from the glow of the town, and he shivered as if caressed by a hollow hand upon his neck. He pulled up his collar and turned to see nothing but the old stone huts that stood around him like sentries keeping watch over the land. He turned back to try and be comforted by the distant glow, but instead was greeted by a smoke rising in front of him. Blacker than the black of night, it drifted up to greet his height. He was taken by a great fear, excitement and curiosity, while the smoke swirled up like the fog in the wind, but holding steady in its own form until it became the twisted, contorted shape of a human. It stood at full height and turned to face the man, and with two swirling black arms raised high, it said, "Dance with me, dance with me." As it said this again and again, it stamped its foot upon the earth, and the rocks themselves boomed in answer and began to pulse a rhythm, and the man was compelled to move to the earthly beat. He felt nothing. As the dancing became more intense, the man, in a trance now, was unaware that his hands had become that of smoke, blacker than the black of night. The hands of the figure he danced with had become real, flesh and blood and bone. The man's feet drifted into black smoke as the figure's feet became real, until the figure stood as the man had looked, his collar turned up to the wind. When the flesh of the new man was complete, and the lonely man was but smoke, he raised a hand, and the wind took the smoke of the dancing man and laid it as fog across the moor. The new man smiled and strode off across the moor towards the valley and the town with an unhuman speed. Then, in the distance, could be heard a mighty booming rhythm of rocks and thunder, and a great smoke blacker than the black of night rose into the air and swirled in the wind. A short while later, the orange glow of the town went out.